I'm going to talk about a topic that's very deep and talk about the mystery of the cross and the gospel in pagan and heathen antiquity and world cultures. This is like anthropological and comparative religion type stuff. And it's a very debating topic. A lot of people debate different pros and cons on this. But I'm convinced that the gospel of Jesus Christ is buried in the heathen mysteries. And they got it from God. And they try to say that Christianity ripped off from pagan mythology because there's themes of dying, rising saviors related with fertility and sun gods, especially through astronomy. And I think it's intentional. God revealed this unto the heathen, and they took that revelation of God and they whacked it out. Instead of seeing like the sun or fertility as a symbol of death and life, the cycles of death and life, which are replete in pagan and heathen mythologies and symbolism religion, based on changing the seasons, solstices, equinoxes, which a lot of your witchcraft festivals and classic pagan festivals are based on, and ideas of cycles of death and life, they show the gospel of Jesus Christ. This is nature's revelation of the gospel of Jesus Christ. And the Bible does teach that Revelation isn't just locked in the Bible, that nature actually shows what can be known of God, everything of God, and is revealed in man. So it's not surprising that even in world cultures all around the world, that the gospel of Jesus Christ, there is God's trying to tell people that He has shown them the truth. And that He has shown the truth of the gospel. Christians don't need to be afraid of this. When Christianity came on the scene, they said, whoa. A lot of the Jews and different people might have thought, wow, it sounds like one of those pagan Baal, Osiris, or Tammuz or something like that, or Dionysus or Mithras, some of these other dying, rising God things. And a lot of people argue how much of it was really matches the gospel narrative or not. But I believe it's there because cycles of death and life are shown clearly in nature. Even Jesus says, unless a seed dies in the ground, it won't bear forth life. So, and people started seeing things like this and made like crop gods. You know, the seed dies, rises again. They start worshiping the fertility. So, but different things like that. The sun was a symbol of Jesus Christ, and even the cross, even this Celtic cross, like the sun in the background. And they show the sun crucified on the zodiac. In the middle of the zodiac, the four different, on the circle of the zodiac around the cross, and the four different signs on the side, which match the cherubim. I think Aquarius is the man, and the lion would be Leo, and the eagle would be Scorpio, because Aquila is Scorpio. And the oxen would be Taurus, the bull. So, but anyway, these different things are shown. Like it relates with the four cherubim, too, that had the faces, and I'll get into that pretty good here. But there's a lot of things, if you take out everything that the heathens have twisted, and people that are pagans or unbelievers, because they didn't acknowledge the truth of God, and they turned it into a lie, and God revealed it unto them, they didn't make it up. And so, Christianity preserves any truth that even the heathen had. So in a way, the heathen mysteries indirectly show prophetic of the gospel that was to come of Jesus Christ, what He was to do, just like the Old Testament was. It was not in the pure sense like the Old Testament, but there are some that probably are in the know. For people to think that people would be dumb enough to worship the sun. The sun was an ancient symbol of the deity. It was not the deity itself. Okay? And there's things in the scriptures, I'll get into this, showing this kind of stuff. Oh, brother, like Jesus would have came on the scene, He would have seemed like a pagan, dying, rising god, fertility sun god. Whew, what abomination. That could be part of the scandal of the cross. And the Greeks in the Hellenistic world had so many, they had these dying, rising god themes. So, oh, no big deal, just another one of these dying, rising, heathen, fertility sun gods. But the thing is that this myth came true in the person of Jesus Christ. He actually filled it. It came true. And I read earlier that Apostle John says, we have witnessed these facts. This is not a myth. We've handled and seen. Now, that's hard to believe, and it seems like, what a bunch of foolishness. This dying, rising guy, they just made up Christianity by looking at the changing of the seasons and fertility and the solstice equinoxes and the sun. And so Christians go, how dare you say you try to mix paganism and Christianity? Well, let me tell you something. God revealed Himself in nature. Pagans worship nature. Who made nature? God. It says in the Bible, nature reveals God, which I'll read the verses out. And God showed it unto the heathen. Oh, that's in the Bible. So, these things. Now, if you have a problem with that, like the symbols of fertility and the sun, okay? The phalak, even the Malphalic symbol is symbolic of the cross and life. There's nothing wrong with sexual reproduction in life. Even the Song of Solomon, a love affair between Solomon and his wife, shows the love relationship between Christ and his bride in divine union, very well known, especially among rabbinic schools. If people have a problem with this, they have a problem with the sun showing God, oh, the sun's an evil object. It's a pagan. Let's just rip the sun out of the sky. Well, we rip the sun out of the sky, we would all die. So the sun is not evil. Because the devil or people worship the sun does not make the sun evil. Or a concept of a dying, rising Savior does not make Christianity evil. And so I think that was part of the scandal and the foolishness Paul talks about in the cross. It would have been a scandal and foolishness. Scandal to the Jews and foolishness. But this foolishness saves. I really believe that Jesus Christ fulfilled this prophecy of the coming dying, rising Savior, virgin-born, divine child, rising, dying, rising God, which is replete in heathen mythology and religion. And also, he filled with the scriptures to say about him. And you better believe that you would find that. If Christianity is true, you'd have to find bits and pieces of it in different world cultures. So, this is just, unreal here, what people try to do. So, and not only that, we're losing a lot of people, our young people, to paganism. Well, Christianity does not need to be afraid of nature. God made creation. I would be very suspicious of a gospel that doesn't embrace creation. Now I'm saying go hug a tree and worship trees or anything like that now. But we have to see God made everything, give thanks for it, okay? We have to give thanks to God for his creation. It's whole. It's holistic vision. Everything we do is the glory of God. He's redeemed everything. His redemption, eventually, it says, all creation waits and travails for the manifestations of the sons of God. Let me look at that verse in Romans 8. Okay, so you ever wonder what your puppy dog's waiting for? He's waiting for you to manifest fully so he be out of the curse. You can't let the pagans have a monopoly on nature, or on Mother Nature, they try to call it. Because God made everything. God is transcendent, but he's imminent. What do I mean by transcendent? He's distinct from his creation, but he's not creation. He's imminent. He's not totally divorced from nature, but his glory and his doxa permeate all creation. So these things are very, very important. And so I'd be very wary. To me, Christianity and the new life and the new birth is just as natural as the sun rising every morning. The lotus blossoming, okay? It's not something strange. It's really what nature was intended. We're in the flow. As a Christian, I'm the flow of creation, what is intended to be. I'm flow with all creation. I'm singing glory to God. I'm in sync. I'm not worshiping creation or denying its revelation. And I have a problem. How can Christians shut their eyes to nature's revelation? And I think it's allegorical. It actually shows what can be known of God is shown allegorically through creation, like I'll read in the scriptures. And it's not by accident. God actually played out nature's allegory. And I believe the sun was a big role that showed allegorically through nature's allegory the role Christ would play, and it was deliberately played out like a script. My opinion. Does not hurt Christianity at all. So Christians may not be afraid of this. And I'm going to read C.S. Lewis. He talks similar things about this kind of thing. Okay, Romans 8:18. For I reckon that the sufferings of the present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory that shall be revealed in us. For the earnest expectation of the creature waited for the manifestation sons of God. So your puppy, dog, and cat are all waiting for you to manifest. For the creature was not made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who hath subjected the same in hope. So we're the one that actually put the curse on creations. It's not what they did. It's what we did that caused this. Because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of God. For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth and pain together until now. And not only they, but ourselves also, first fruits of the Spirit, even ourselves groan with ourselves, waiting for the adoption, to wit, the redemption of our body. So all creation is waiting for our manifestation. So, these things, so we can't let the pagans have a monopoly on this nature thing, okay? We have to deal with it properly. Christianity embraces creation. We're not just talking about creation science, but also the beauty of creation, what it shows in its allegorical story, how it shows in the gospel. And I believe that the gospel is shown allegorically through nature, and allegory and correspondence. And it's not an accident. And then we're not just talking about creation science, which I do believe. I'm a creationist. I don't believe in evolution. And I believe that that's very important. But I also believe it shows allegorically the gospel. And that's where all your heathen mysteries, you get into the Masonic mysteries, it was all whacked out, all show. There's a bunch of scholarship, especially in the 19th century, a lot of free thinkers, agnostic, atheist free thinkers, and some certain Christian scholars. There is a style of scholarship I embrace. I don't agree with their criticism. They deny the historical